We need a system to respond to homelessness. No matter what changes in the landscape of funding, we have to have a system level governing body that makes decisions, that is made up of all of our stakeholders in our community.
There are a lot of people who are really passionate about a solution to homelessness, but who may not be in some kind of formal leadership position. Do they have, should they be involved in this collaborative leadership body? And if so, how do they get involved?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different ways that anyone who cares about it, no matter the role or their connection to the homeless response work that's happening, you can attend your local COC meetings. Those are public. Staying informed, showing up, and speaking out are powerful ways to influence change. Right. A lot of times, what we're seeing across communities is that there are a lot of folks who have concerns around homelessness end up creating something brand new that doesn't always work in alignment with the overall homeless response system. And if you want the homeless response system to operate differently, or or at least answer questions, you have to ask the questions and know who to reach out to.
So all of the people who are coming together to participate in homeless response system governance, they may have very different ideas of how the homeless response system should work, right? And some of them are a little bit closer to the issue of homelessness. Some of them are a little bit, some of them have expertise in other areas, right? Like healthcare providers. How how is this group going to work out its disagreements and its disparate beliefs about what causes homelessness and how we should respond?
I think it is crucial for any governing body or system, a homeless response system, to operate based off of an overarching goal, right? If our overarching goal is to end homelessness within our community, then that should be what we're focusing on. I think we get caught up on different strategies of getting to that same place. If we center that overall goal and then use data, and that's again qualitative and quantitative, listening to folks who are going through our system, looking at what's working. I think we have to lean into both and thinking that we can do things differently to get to our overall goal. So I think we can be inclusive. So for instance, I'll just give examples. We'll have communities who will not invite recovery housing, recovery focus, because it doesn't always fit neatly into what people's understanding of housing first is, in which when we talk about evidence-based practice, such as like a housing first, actually recovery housing does fit into that model. But it has to have choice by the individual who are serving. So that's an example of, we need to build out a table that meets the unique needs of all people, and not just what we maybe consider as the solution. Because homelessness is a crisis that is predicated from multiple systems failing. We need those systems to be at the table to help us create a solution to adequately address and end someone's homelessness. And again, it has to be all hands on deck type of solution. It can't be driven by just one voice or one ideology.
Some groups are more heavily impacted by homelessness than other groups. I'm not sure that's on everybody's radar. So when this collaborative body comes together, how can they, make sure that they're being mindful of that and sort of trying to address those disparities?
I think we have to measure our systems using, again, data, and not just aggregate data. We have to disaggregate our data to see who's not being served, who's being served more than maybe their demographic data suggests. Then we also have to pull up the mirror to our own governing structures and say, are we representative of the community that we're trying to serve? Do we have stakeholders who are maybe more closely aligned to some of those communities, to really ensure that we are not just operating almost robotically, and we're able to pivot and make changes to system, to interventions that aren't meeting the needs of all folks. It's no way to end homelessness without meeting the individual needs of all people experiencing homelessness.
So there's a lot of entrepreneurship in homeless response, which is awesome. Like, people are always having great ideas and starting up something new to help serve more people in their community. Every once in a while, I'll talk with someone who started a homeless response organization and who says, well, I don't like what my local system is doing and I want to do something different. What would your response to that really impassioned entrepreneur be?
I think that is a real concern. And again, some communities still haven't leaned into the collective and community-based response to addressing homelessness. Um, and I think we are stronger together. And I know that is sometimes can be frustrating, especially if you don't agree with maybe the direction of the local homeless response system. But I think if your voice advocating at the table, being backed with data, leveraging partnerships and relationships is the best way for us to move as a collective. If we have a ton of really great tools in a community that are really shiny and they operate okay, right? But they don't realize how if they come together, they can actually operate a better working, larger machine. So they know their role within this overall system. We can see more impact and really meet the needs and lessen the suffering and reduce the harm of some of the most vulnerable in our communities. So I would just encourage you to continue advocating, finding solutions to work within the homeless response system, um, because we need everybody rowing in the same direction in order to meet this crisis in this moment.